welcome back to Sister Sis. Nice to have you joining us again. We're taking it easy today. We've had nice family holidays and we've just been really catching up with friends and family, and we're both at different parts of our lives, as we know you guys all are. We thought we would just make a video called
Old Ways Won't Open New Doors.
They won't. We've been reading a lot of memes. A lot of our friends and other social media bloggers and things have been putting up quite a lot of things about way planets are moving and the times that we are coming into, about new horizons and walking towards your destiny and walking in your purpose. So we thought we would just like to broach this subject. And
I think we have, it's a bit of a recap as well, because today's sort of show is about a lot of the things we've spoken about in different shows that we've already done and put out for you guys. As Tan said, there's a lot of sort of energy shifts and things going on at the moment, sort of planetary activities, volcanoes, earthquakes. There's so much different things going on in the atmosphere. But as well as that, we personally, as in people, humans, are feeling the energy shifts. There's a lot of people that are recognising that they have grown exponentially within themselves. A lot due to lockdown, they've been isolated by themselves. So they've really kind of gone internally, trying to address things. So this show, Old Ways Won't Open New Doors, clearly if you've grown from the person you used to be, if you are sort of looking to go into a new career, or you are looking to sort of go into a new relationship, if you're looking to branch out and start networking, the things that you used to do are not going to work for you now. So that's what we mean by old ways not opening new doors.
And it's actually like not having a fear of something new, because sometimes when you're in habits, you're in routines, you know yourself as the old you, and when you've done work, when you have worked on yourself, when you have done all your healing, or not all your healing, but when you're on that journey to discover who you really are, what you really want, what brings you joy and what your passion is, you need to unlearn some of the habits and some of the things you used to tell yourself in the old you, some of the things that really held you back. And I personally just want to say to people listening out there, if this is you or you are on this journey, like am I, do not be scared of change. Do not be scared of going in a different direction.
Do not be afraid of trying something different. Do not be afraid of approaching it in a different way. Do not be scared of looking at things and processing things in a different way. Life is all about growing. So we have to kind of, if things aren't working for us in everyday life, in the way we kind of approach big things in our lives, we then have to evaluate. We have to look inward.
Back to reflection.
We have to look, okay, well, if I've done this 10 times and it isn't working for me, what can I do differently?
And failing is something that happens on your way to success too. So I would say I was in a point quite recently where I thought I'd failed on one or two aspects. And not that I had failed, but this is just what I was telling myself. And you kind of have a point where you think you failed, but actually that position, that plateau that you're in, actually is just to propel you to something new and to something else, which might be the best thing you've ever experienced. But by you not moving forward, by you holding yourself and telling yourself
that negative self-talk.
And I mean, even sometimes you go on social media and you're feeling a certain way, you might pause on certain quotes, certain memes, and because you've paused on those memes, the algorithms from that site send you more of the same post. So what actually happens is, how you're feeling or thought you might have had, you think, oh, this is a sign, or this something tell me, but actually what is happening is the algorithms are backing up that thought you're having, so you feel that it's reinforced by you seeing certain posts and certain memes, when actually that's how those sites have been designed for those algorithms to come up and keep you in that thought process. So it's really, you have to be really conscious of what you're pausing and reading and what you're looking into, what you're researching online, because your feed will then back up how you were initially thinking or that thought process. So be more diverse in what you read and what you look at, so you get different perspectives on where you might actually be in your life right now.
Yeah, but just reinforcing what you just said, basically what I wanted to sort of interject was, basically by using the tools of what you just said, if you find that you're in a bit of a funk, that your mood's kind of always down, always negative when you go on social media, and you find that actually that's the stuff that is popping up a lot more, just for a moment, stop, pause, and maybe stop and look at other things. Mix up the algorithm, basically. So what you want to be coming towards you, you kind of need to be feeding into that too. So so use those tools to kind of flip the negative and what you're currently seeing into a positive.
So in order to move forward, sometimes you do have to take yourself off of the whole news feed and your timeline, and sometimes go into a book, research a book that's going to help you on your journey onto a new path. There are many books we can recommend. We might list some down below. One particular book we've been waiting to be released. It's out on the 13th of April.
Yes,
big
up to Vex King.
He's got I don't know if he's got more than the first book we've read.
Healing is the New High? That's part of the title.
Healing is the New High is the title of Vex King's book, which we've pre-ordered, and that should be coming through the post any day now. So we're waiting for that. So books like that are going to have such a positive impact on your journey and your growth. Delve into those, whether you're a male or female, there are books that will help you wherever you need to go. If it's in business, it's in business. I've just read the 5 a.m. Club. So if you want to sort of use more of your day wisely, if you are thinking of starting up your own business, read things that are going to help you do that, and don't keep looking back, and don't look at necessarily at other people around you, because some things that might have worked for people in your close proximity might not work for you. But get a broader perspective on where you want to go next and start taking those small steps forward.
But also remember that you can also switch up the material that you're reading. If there are things that you want to get into, like you said, certain finances, certain things, like get the material, sort of read up, become more knowledgeable, but also throw in some fiction, throw in some poetry, throw in some, love novels. A good one, what's the good one that we we read? Is it Queenie that you lent me, that you've now lent to our cousin? I read the whole book in how many days? Was it like a day? I stayed up, I didn't sleep. It had me that hooked. It was a nice break away from the other stuff that I was actually reading.
And sometimes it's a walk, sometimes it's a run, sometimes it's a short break, but whatever it takes for you to get creative and for you to find space. Space away from your norms, space away from your daily. And Charlie and I have spoken about before, space doesn't necessarily mean space. It could mean internal space, if you need to change your routine slightly. And I read some quite good advice the other day actually about just changing small things in your day, just like the position you park in. If you're a creature of habit and you always do things a particular way, a good way to start making moves for new things to enter your life is park in a different parking spot. If you park on the drive in this direction all the time, go in the other way. Just change little things up. If you always going through this entrance to get to work, like try another entrance. Just do little small changes that will make you come out of this kind of mundane, static way of thinking and working, and stop preventing you meeting new people. Because I think sometimes if you might take the same journey in every day, for example, or you visit a relative, you always go on this train that happens at this time, you're only ever going to see the same people. And if you just switch that up and maybe say, do you know what, I'm going to take, it's 2 buses, but I'm going to take those 2 buses, you widen your chance of meeting different people, of seeing different things, of having different experiences. And it's really important that we don't get stuck in a rut. We don't get so used to things being a certain way that we miss opportunities, and we miss opportunities to become our best selves.
And I don't think we should, as you said, ever be scared. No one should ever be scared of change, of developing, of growing, of kind of, I know there's a saying that a lot of people say about no new friends, but actually sometimes the people that come into your path can actually support you in ways that the people that you've been friends with all along couldn't. And that's not a diss to the people that have been there in your life before. That just might not be their forte, where they could actually help you.
Yeah,
bring
people
you to a
bring different
level.
things, and as the saying goes, some people are in your life for blessings and some for lessons.
But some people don't want to change their circle. They get so like, nope, can't trust anybody. And we know what you're saying, like there's a solid foundation, but the moment you close yourself off for any room for growth and change.
It doesn't mean you need to make a bag of friends.
No, definitely not.
There's still quality over quantity.
Yes.
And you can still make good quality people as you go on in your life. And that if you're closed off, you will never know your full potential.
Yes.
And that's kind of all we're trying to say. And that doesn't just go with friendships and business. That also goes with your love life as well, you know. And just, I wouldn't say keeping your options open, because that's the wrong thing to say, but if things don't necessarily work out in a relationship for you, you know, you are going to grieve that relationship, you are going to have to do your healing, whatever the circumstance may be. But don't be scared to open up again. Do not be scared to find, because what you've learned from your you see, that's the key, is that if you're just going on from relationship to relationship and hopping, that's just disastrous. All you're doing is collecting baggage and bringing that with you into your new life, into your future. The key is to learn from your past, to learn. I wouldn't say mistakes, because mistakes are all learning processes. And if you discover who you are more through each relationship, be it friendship, be it relationship, be it conversations you have, that just means you're going to encounter something better. That means you're preparing yourself for something you've never known before, because of what you've learned from there. You bring that here, and you also develop your own awareness of self. It becomes more precise, and that doesn't mean you're more picky. That simply means you have different boundaries, and you know your worth, and you know what you're looking for. Because sometimes we go out to look for someone like us in a partner, where actually you don't really want someone like yourself.
No, I think when you look in the mirror, you're happy with yourself. Like if you're a single person, or you're just content in your own energy throughout the day, you know who you are. You know the qualities, you know how you deal with conflict and how you deal with certain situations. But a lot of the time we're out there looking for ourselves in somebody else. That is near sometimes impossible. We can find someone similar, we can find someone with the same interests, we can find someone that likes to hold conversations about the same topics, but we're never going to find an exact us out there. Unless you're finding your doppelganger and falling in love with your doppelganger, you're not finding you.
But actually, would you want to be with someone who's exactly like you? No. So I think as you get older, you realise what you need. Not what you want or what you think you want. As you learn, you realise the qualities that you would like to see in someone else that will complement who you already are. Not to make you whole, or not to sharpen you more to be a better you, but to complement you, so you can grow together in your joy. And I think I was watching a season actually, one of these seasons that you find on TV. It was called The One, and it's actually it's quite an amazing concept actually. It's so this doctor generates a database that uses DNA, and you attract the right your one so-called one person that you would meet in life, that is your one mate ever in life. And it's exactly how they made a term referring to how ants mate. So ants can sense based on their DNA who their perfect match is to procreate, and to have that connection for life. And it was really interesting, because even though people now, it's a futuristic thing, had the ability to find their one, it wasn't necessarily, it was their one person who they would have that connection that you cannot even comprehend you would feel about another human being in that way, like complete soul connection, complete body connection. But that didn't necessarily mean that that's the person they're supposed to be with, because what that program threw up is all the other factors that come into people's lives through their experiences and through their environmental factors and the people they're related to and connected to, that thrown into you, it doesn't always work. So it's knowing yourself so much to know what you need for someone to complement you to be your life partner, not necessarily because there's an immediate attraction or there's a lust, or they make this and I make this, so together combined we can do this as a, you know, as projects, or we make lovely children, like all of those things. Like I think as you learn and you grow lessons, and if those relationships that you found have not worked out, those old ways in which you were trying to find a partner, a companion, someone to love might not work. So it's looking at knowing yourself more.
Yeah, and I think, as you said as well, going back to sort of not bringing your past into it, no, sort of not the hurt, if people have kind of dealt with you in a certain way, if you've had to deal with other people kind of cheating on you or kind of just being a bit dishonest with you, do not bring that forward to the next person. But it's a case as well, hurt can sometimes make you close your heart off. But actually what you're supposed to do is open your heart and boundary up. Don't close your heart off. Keep your heart open. We're supposed to be vibrating and operating on love, but just make sure you have healthy boundaries and you know your worth.
Right. Have a look at this meme here, which we found this week, which says, we are all capable of being sad, being burdens, being insecure, being narcissistic, being needy, being obsessive. You know, we're all capable of these attributes. The thing is knowing that you need to be working on yourself. And if two people coming together, you're not, I think what Charlie was trying to say is you're not going to meet perfection. Because we think we're somewhat perfect. Each of us thinks we have our own.
Well, not even perfect. Sorry to interrupt you. Like you said about the program, the one, when you throw in all your family dynamics, if I meet somebody tomorrow, like just on the bus having a conversation, the way that I grew up dealing with things in our household, in our family, is not going to be the same who Tony down the road deals with it. But I might be expecting, oh, well, we've met each other. How comes you don't deal with things like me? Why do you react like this? Well, we're coming from different walks of life. Of course, I'm not going to find me and my reactions in you. But people do sometimes get blinded by that. They get frustrated. Why do you deal with things like this? Why can't you see it my way? First of all, they're not you. Second of all, they've been grown up in maybe a different environment, different household, different makeup altogether. So we have to be patient. We have to know if someone doesn't do things the exact same way you would do things, doesn't mean, one, there's anything wrong with them, or two, that a friendship, a partnership, or a bond still can't flourish. Sometimes opposites attract. Sometimes it's the differences
that attract you to someone, definitely.
Exactly.
So I think as long as you know going into new relationships, new partnerships, dating again, that you are going to have to do your own work within that, and the person hopefully is going to do their own work. And what I've come to realize even now is that for me, I couldn't be with someone who's not a reflective person, who's not reflective about where they are, where they want to be, and how they feel and how they express their feelings. That's something that I've kind of learned along the way, which is truly important to me, and I think I hold dearly, which is when I was younger. I don't think I would have gone thinking things like that, you know, sort of dating questions that I might, not dating questions because that sounds really quite controlling, but things that would arise
along the dating period when you're getting to know somebody.
Certain things that I would seek to find out about someone before I became really involved with someone. Because I think if you go back to our previous video about not just love languages, but like love behaviors, love sides, I think it's called.
Love languages and
it's like it's the love pattern,
styles.
love styles. So it's like how people love, why, the background, and then maybe talk about love languages and what you need now. But those things are now quite important for me to know about a person, because it's no point just loving someone the way you want to be loved, and not understanding that we all have different needs.
And like you said, these conversations should come up early on along the getting to know phase, because then what can sometimes happen, unfortunately, is once feelings have already occurred, what happens is you end up settling. You end up settling, and they don't actually, I wouldn't say meet the criteria, that sounds quite formal, but they can't love you. As much as they love you, they cannot love you in the way that you need to be loved. Definitely. But rather than wait for so long to find these things out, so you end up settling, which is then quite painful.
Well,
to be in a situation, to be in a situation where you are not being loved in the way that you genuinely and truly need to be loved is almost like slow torture. So these conversations should come up, and don't be scared about having these early on. I think we've said it in one of our other shows about talking before becoming parents and things like this. If you have certain conversations with somebody and these conversations scare somebody off, they were not meant to be the person that you're supposed to be with. Excellent. Someone that you're supposed to be with, you should be able to talk about what you're thinking and what you're feeling without it sounding like an argument, without it being invalidated. Obviously, your own validation should always come first, but you should be able to talk openly about these things if there's even a remote chance of a future with somebody.
Definitely. And I also think if things come up and you don't like it, you don't have to settle for it. You know yourself enough to know what you want to, I wouldn't say tolerate either, because these words are quite closed and quite harsh, but what you're willing to enter, to give access to certain people and to certain behaviours in your life. Life is very short, which is something we've learned this week as well. Not that we haven't been learning it all this year, but this week in particular, you know, quite young people are just leaving the face of this earth. And I think more people have become more aware that life has to be grabbed and grasped, and you have to kind of find your purpose out and deal with it and not run away from it.
And not using old ways.
And yeah, definitely. And I just said, I really, really do challenge you guys to just switch things up a bit. Like, really go to a different supermarket this week, you know, like, I know.
Listen to a different radio station. Switch up the genre of music.
Right.
See if, like, okay,
change your playlist. You know,
something.
Just do things a bit differently. You know, instead of having shower, have a bath. You know, just do things that are gonna just invoke certain
happier feelings, sort of a newer ways. That's what we're saying. Try new ways. If you're always on social media and you're a person that always engages in conversations, but you come away feeling depleted, just for this week, try not commenting. Try not engaging in the back and forth energy pool.
Delete some people and friend some new people. Not everyone, but just switch it up a bit so you have a different type of energy coming into you. I'm not saying it's all going to be good, because what you might find is, you know, is that because you've tried to deal with new people, it doesn't work. You've met some terrible people, then you close off again, you know. But just try.
But then it might teach you something about yourself along the way.
Yeah, that's what the challenge is. Just try and switch. Just really daily habits. Just switch one or two things just for a week or so and see how it makes you feel. If you feel no differently, if you're already a spontaneous person and you don't need any of this advice, then good on you. I'm sure you're grabbing each day of your life and living it to the full. And that's what I'm trying to do now in my life. And I just urge people who are not, who you know, even are watching this video for some pointers how to make a difference in their life, is just switch some of your daily habits up just a little bit. Like, you don't have to be, you know, out there and, you know, and do anything really strange or really extreme, is what I'm trying to say. But just little things, you know, go to, you know, a different place.
And like we've said before, we're not professionals. We give you the advice from the most well-intended place, from a place of experience. We always practice what we preach. So anything we talk about, we're either doing or we've done. Not that as we said before, not that everything would work for you, but just try. All we're out here doing is saying, just try to change something up.
I've been a vegan in the past for about a year and a half. I was a vegan, and then I went back after, you know, I went vegan for certain health issues, and then I got better, and then I went back to my kind of old diet, not 100%.
Your old ways. You went back to your old ways.
I
Let's be
did.
honest, she went back to her
I closed
old
the
ways.
door to the new ways.
Like, she went
guys.
back. She actually went back.
Went back through that door. So now, because I just wanted to feel differently in my body, I remembered how good I used to feel when I was vegan before. So I haven't got completely vegan, but I'm trying mostly plant-based food now. Me and my son are doing it, and we on a daily basis discuss the effects it's having on our body, it's having on our clarity of thinking, of feeling, of our intuitiveness. And that's a massive change. I ain't gonna lie. Like, going plant-based is not an easy decision for me to have made, but it's one thing that I could do to see how I feel about that change, and it's had massive benefits in my household. And it's just something that's simple. I'm not saying it's easy, but it's a simple change to make. And how it makes me feel for now, you know, I'll let you know how it goes, but for now I'm opening that door, because my old ways wasn't helping me to 1, lose weight, 2, feel energized and energetic, 3, have that kind of clarity of mind and thought. So I'm going to open that door.
And although I mocked you, I also went back in the gluten door. I'm sure I said on one of our first videos when we spoke about health that I'd cut out gluten and dairy, still stayed with the non-dairy sort of path, but went back to gluten because I absolutely love bread, pasta, all that sort of stuff. Yeah, bread. I could eat toast, bread, like I could eat probably a whole loaf a day. As small as I am, I probably eat like 4 slices of toast in one sitting. But it was causing absolute pain in my intestines. So just a few days ago, decided to pack up gluten, fling it out the window, and now I've walked through the gluten-free door, and actually the pain in my side has subsided for the last 3 to 4 days. So I know that me reversing and going back to my old ways really didn't help me. Those old ways.
So I just think a lesson in what Charlie just said, a lesson for me really is sometimes once you close those old doors, you've opened a new one. Don't reopen those doors. Don't. And that's something I've just, really picked up on from us, even just sitting on the couch here having this conversation. So I really hope that you got something from this conversation that we've had today. Sister out here just trying to share with you some things that might help, little life hacks, little experience joggers, thought-provoking conversations.
Just reminders, because a lot of you guys will know this stuff. You would have grown up hearing a lot of this stuff. The advice that we've given over all of the videos, the almost 30-something videos we've put out since last summer. But these are just reminders. We're not,
we're here as sisters. We're here to be sisters within the community, to just say that we're having these conversations too. So keep having these conversations. I do challenge you.
Keep raising each other up.
To switch something else up. So from Sister Sis, always take care of yourself.
Bye.
Bye.